Have you ever pursued a person being in pain because of that person's pursuit of yours, while placing an obstacle, especially moral one, to have a child with you in sex? Has that been at fault of that person in degree of your distress and suffering? Did you or did you not give that person a chance for a child and a marriage? Because if you did not, you are at fault. If you participated in pressure toward a person, depriving that person from an income, food, water, shelter, and for sake of others, chance to enable the area for safety and provision of goods for that partner and children by impeding work. Have you ever forced a person who could pursue family when others do in the given area because of a pursuit of flattery? Would you like to have a marriage in which a female pursues you like a hanging on a pow dog, begging for mercy because she's deprived of food, water, shelter, and all that because you go around and complain about not being loved? Do you know what kind of love that is? It is a clock, a ticking one, in pity to leave you. Have you ever known any other way? Do you know what dignity is? In turn, have you ever pursued a person, inflicting pain to force on that person then sexual or romantic advances, and substituting pain, harassment, threats, and verbal abuse for pursuit in masculinity of altruism to enable area for that person to thrive and in freedom choose you as spouse? Have you deserved, because of that, rejection and contempt, and then quoted around the person to discard the person who you actually preferred for gain? Are you a judge that disables based on substitution of violence with sex that conducts to children marriages to obtain extortion and disparities in division of goods, leading to death, infertility, and suffering and abuse of mental health and drugs? Have you issued a license or enforced a relationship against others as judge that are at least one pursued to be harmed, rejected when trying to have children, in demonization of sex, especially in women as source of children? Have you done so as a preacher? Have you expected from others a sacrificial lamb attitude and preached for death instead of sex as source of children? Killing by speeches and preaching to the masses in fact what it is, a primal jealousy and resentment for self-chastising in pain? have you presented as model of behavior Jesus, whose mother stood there watching him being tortured, and father ignored pleading to remove suffering from own son, and presented that as righteous or self-sacrifice. Please remove the bitter chalice of pain from me, he said. And they stood there watching him as he was tortured. Do you pursue that for others? For personal gain? It's time that morality is truly moral and part of legal system. Have you ever, in contempt or in implicit or explicit pursuit of romance, knowing that you will not be able, having a formal or informal relationship, provide children and commitment to a person, and disgrace that person in public as seductress or as a perpetrator, or accused of doing such, to cause distortion of justice and truth? If you have done so, you will become source of own judgment and no one else. Remember, if your family betrayed you, you can apply to court for status of a strange person and ask for tangible and non-tangible repair and what was taken away from you. In mistrust and distortion of facts and pursuit of maternal or paternal approval, of applause from others, or pursuit of vendetta in a non-faulty to that person way, for crimes done by peers of parents in their absence or omission, in ignorance, similar to staring at Jesus being crucified. Mary as mother. Which mother would have no empathy for own son? Which mother would be so gullible to wait for absent or non-existing father, source of ecstasy and love? Having faith in God, do you count on self? Do you have enough dignity when at risk of death to delegate to the next one available to pursue immediate survival and provision of